Shabbat Shalom. I'm Cantor David Prozer of Kehillat Bet HaMidrash, Kempsville Conservative Synagogue in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And this is our Torah portion commentary for Saturday, November 14th, 2020, corresponding to the 27th day of the Hebrew month of Mar Cheshvan in the year 5781. We thank Rabbi Joseph Prauser, Rabbi Adam Rosenbaum, Rabbi Joyce Newmark, Rabbi Avram Kogan, and the United Synagogue Torah Spark series for their various teachings and publications on this week's Parsha. This Shabbat, November 14th, we read the Parsha of Chaye Sarah, found in the book of Bereshit, the book of Genesis. It begins on page 127 of the Eitz Chaim Chumash and page 80 of the Hertz. Sarah dies at the age of 127 in Kiryat Arba, now Hebron, and Avraham mourns her. He bargains with the Hittites to secure a burial place for her. He buys the cave of Machpelah and the fields surrounding it from Ephron at an apparently inflated price. The center week of this week's Parsha is the search for a suitable wife for Yitzchak. Avraham dispatches his senior servant back to his homeland, Aram Naharayim, in the land of Haran, the land of Mesopotamia, to find a suitable wife for Yitzchak. The servant is unnamed here, but known as Eliezer based on a previous verse 2 weeks ago in Parshat Lech Lecha. He makes the servant swear that he will not select a Canaanite woman for Yitzchak. After arriving in Haran, the servant's prayer for guidance and a divine sign in identifying Yitzchak's future bride is immediately answered with the appearance of the beautiful and pure Rebecca, who approaches the well where the servant has stationed himself. In keeping with his prayer, she draws water from the well, generously providing water to the servant and also to his 10 camels. Eliezer learns that Rebecca, is the granddaughter of Nahor, Avraham's brother, and realizes that God has indeed guided him to the right woman. The servant presents gifts to Rivka and then to her family, including Lavan, her brother, and Betuel, her father, to whom he tells the story of his mission and also what happened at the well. Rivka consents to marry Yitzchak. She receives her family's blessing, and the servant receives permission to take her back to Beersheba. Yitzchak and Rivka meet. Rivka covers herself with a veil in a gesture of modesty still reenacted at traditional Jewish weddings today, frequently accompanied by the recitation of a verse from this paragraph, Genesis 24:60. Yitzchak takes his bride into his mother's tent, and the bereaved son finds comfort in his marriage. Following this story, and before moving on to tell us about the life of Yitzchak and Rivka, the Torah supplies us with 2 end notes to the life of Avraham. First, he remarries after the death of Sarah to Keturah. That marriage produces 6 more children, although Yitzchak remains the sole heir. Next, upon Avraham's death at the age of 175, Yitzchak and Ishmael come together to bury their father in the cave of Machpelah that Avraham had purchased in which to bury Sarah at the beginning of this week's Parsha. After Avraham's death, God renews his blessing of Yitzchak. Ishmael dies at the age of 137, and the Parsha concludes by listing his many descendants, thereby demonstrating the fulfillment of God's earlier blessing as the progenitor of a great nation and the father of 12 chieftains. The Haftorah for this week is from the beginning of the book of 1 Kings, chapter 1, verses 1 to 31, beginning on page 143 of the Eitz Chaim Chumash and page 90 of the Hertz. It describes an aging King David, echoing this week's Torah reading, which mentions that Avraham was old, advanced in days. King David was aging. Seeing his father advancing in age, Adoniyahu, one of King David's sons, seized the opportunity to prepare the ground for his ascension to his father's throne upon King David's passing, despite King David's express wishes that his son Shlomo, Solomon, succeed him. This tie-in of this Haftorah to the Torah reading is a perfect exercise in the favorite assignment of teachers everywhere: compare and contrast. In both the Torah and the Haftorah, we find revered elder figures taking steps to ensure the continuation of their heritage and their values. Avraham, by finding a suitable wife for Isaac, for Yitzchak, and King David, by designating his son Shlomo, Solomon, to ascend to the throne after him. In the Torah, Yitzchak, despite being 37 years old, willingly allows his father to make this selection for him. In the Haftorah, we find Adoniyahu, one of King David's sons, couldn't even wait for his father to die before trying to seize the opportunity to prepare his ascension to his father's throne, despite King David's express wishes that his son Solomon succeed him. Which of these two examples should we be using as our lesson for the week? Of course, history has already made that decision for us. So Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. Thank you again for watching. Be sure to subscribe, to like, and to hit the notification below so that you'll always know when we post new content. Shabbat Shalom.